Step number 4, earn more money. I talk to a lot of people who say, Jaspreet, if I just had an additional $1,000 a month, all of my financial problems would be solved because I could pay my bills and have some extra money to save and invest. But what ends up happening, and I've been teaching financial education for a decade now, is when people actually go out and earn that extra $1,000 a month, your income goes up to here, and then all of a sudden your expenses, boop, shoot right up as well to be in line with your new income. And why does that happen? Because when you don't have a disciplined spending, you don't have a disciplined investing, when you don't have a disciplined saving method, well, as you earn more money, you just spend more money as well, because now you get yourself a nicer car, you upgrade your house, you go to Cancun a little bit more, you go to fancier restaurants because you have more money to spend, because we are bred to spend, and that's why you need a money system. One of the simplest systems that I teach is 75, 15, 10, which says for every dollar that you earn from here on out, 75 cents is the maximum that you're allowed to spend. 15 cents is the minimum you need to invest. 10 cents is the minimum that you save. And now you're gonna go out and create 3 different bank accounts. One for your spending money, one for investment money, one for your savings money. Yes, this is necessary because if you keep it all in one bank account, I guarantee you're gonna mess up and you might accidentally spend some of your investment money. And it's very hard just to keep track of everything when it's all in one bank account. So yes, create 3 bank accounts. I get it, it's a little bit of extra work, but your bank will allow you to do this for free. And if they don't, go find another bank. Then when you create the 3 bank accounts, create an automation that anytime you get paid, this money will be transferred here and this money will be transferred here. Now you can't accidentally spend this money or this money. Now, when you have these automations set up, this is where earning more money can be the most powerful. And you might say, well, Jaspreet, how do I earn more money? And this question is very interesting because it really depends on you. They say personal finance is personal, and the reason why is because some of you are just gonna say, I'm gonna go drive for Uber. That's gonna be my new stream of second income. Some of you would say, I would never do that. Some of you will say, I'll get a second job. Others of you will say, why would I ever do that? Some of you are gonna say, I'm gonna work for a raise or a promotion. Others of you will say, I would never do that. Some of you are gonna say, I'm gonna start a side hustle. Others of you will say, I would hate to do that. And some of you are gonna say, I wanna start my own business. Others of you, I would say, I would never wanna take on that headache. You have to figure out what you want to do. There are so many options out there, whether it's through your job, getting a new job, getting a career change, getting a career upgrade, getting a certificate, getting a new degree, to potentially starting a side hustle or starting your own business. I'm not gonna go over all the different options in this video because I've made multiple videos talking about this before, but the whole idea is you have a lot of different ways that you can earn more money. Okay, spend some time figuring out how you want to earn more money, whether it's starting your own thing, getting a new job, or doing it through your own career, and then spend effort and time and energy actually working towards it. When you put the time and effort into it, it's interesting how you start to see the results after a little while. It's not immediate, but as you earn more money, just remember 75, 15, 10, that way you're actually saving some of that extra money and investing some of that extra money. And now we're on to step 5 on how you can win in this financial system. Remember, in this economic system, when you are just an employee and you are just a consumer, like most people, you are gonna be screwed over. Banks are going to profit off of you, corporations are going to profit off of you, and the government's going to profit off of you, and everybody is using your hard-earned dollars to make themselves rich while you stay stuck. The way you get out is by number 1, changing your mindset. Then number 2, you got to make some financial sacrifices so you have some extra money. Then number 3, you got to start investing that money, and then once you know how to invest, once you start building that financial mindset, now you got to work to earn more money. That way you have more money to invest, because wealthy people are focused on owning more assets. That way they can build their wealth while everybody else is just working on how can I make more money from my job to pay my bills. Now we're on to step number 5. Invest in your knowledge. You know, the weird thing about our education system is that we kind of are taught to think that our education ends with school. That when you're done with college, you're done with grad school, you're done with professional school, that your education is done. When in reality, that's just the beginning. That's not the end. When you want to build your wealth, you have to understand financial education, which is very different than formal education. And I had to learn this the hard way because I grew up in a traditional Indian house. My parents really wanted me to be a doctor. And when I decided I didn't want to be a doctor, my dad was very upset and said, Jaspreet, if you want to keep any pride in the family, you have to at least become an attorney. So I went to law school. I got my law degree. I passed the bar exam. I'm a licensed attorney, but I've never worked a day as an attorney. And this is where I want you to understand that there is formal education, which is not a bad thing. I mean, having a nice degree, having a nice job, that's a great place to start. But when it comes to building your wealth, you also have to have the financial education, which is very different than your formal education. Financial education is the things that I talked about. How do you spend your money smartly? How do you create a system so you have money to save and invest every time you get paid? How do you invest your money? Are you investing in stocks? Are you investing in real estate? And then how do you analyze your investments? I mean, are you going to invest in ETFs and index funds and mutual funds, or are you going to invest in individual companies? If you're going to invest in individual companies, how do you value the stock? How do you research the companies? How do you know which companies to even invest in? This is that research. This is actually something that my team at Briefs Media publishes. We have a product called Briefs Pro. This is for our pro investors, where we break down market shifts, we break down investment opportunities, we break down where money is moving, because we have a team of market analysts that are constantly studying the markets, and they're going out and talking to executives. They're going to trade shows to see how money is moving and how these things create investment opportunities. If that's something you're interested in, you can always check out Briefs Pro. Or maybe you want to invest in real estate, and now you have to start learning how to analyze real estate deals. You have to start learning how to manage the numbers, how to manage the cash flow, how to find a good property manager, how to understand how to manage and deal with tenants. There's all a learning process, and you have to be willing to take that start. And the first start is understanding that you have to be willing to learn and invest in your own financial education, because we're not taught this stuff in school. But if you really want to accelerate your wealth, you have to be willing to invest in your financial education. Now, I'm not saying you have to go out and spend thousands of dollars to learn how to do this, especially right off the bat. But start by just watching YouTube videos. I know you're clearly here, but continue investing in your mind. Consume the free content out there. Listen to podcasts, watch more videos. Then maybe you start buying books, and maybe you start taking classes, or maybe you start investing in your own investment research. That way you get more data on things that you can potentially put your money into, because yes, that stuff does cost money if you want to get access to better research. But if you're willing to invest in your own learning, that can pay some of the best dividends and some of the best returns if you're willing to put in the work. Now remember, you're going to make mistakes, you're going to screw up. I've screwed up more than really anybody else, because I didn't grow up learning this stuff. But if you're not willing to make the mistakes, you're never going to see the upside. Don't beat yourself up when something goes wrong. It's a part of the process. We call it real life tuition in the business world, because you have to learn how not to do things so you can learn how to do things. But keep trying, keep learning, and every day just take one tiny step forward. And if you do that, you're going to surprise yourself where you're going to be in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and pretty soon your friends are not even going to recognize who you are. Your family is not going to know what type of person you became, because you've changed your finances so drastically. They're going to be coming to you for financial advice. If you enjoyed this clip and you want to continue your financial education journey, I have another video that I think you'll love. All you got to do is click that button right over there. And for those of you who want to stay up to date on the top finance and business news, you can join Market Briefs, my free financial newsletter, by clicking that button below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.